Whenever you guys are ready.
Okay. Are you ready, Jake? Yeah. This is Taylor White, and this is part 2 of The Other Side, my film production independent study. Today we have my guest, Jacob Bennett. He's a fraternity brother, and we just got back from spring break, and we can't really talk much about it. Some stories you have to keep in Panama City, but we all had quite a bit of fun.
I don't know if there's a desk there.
Anyways, today we're going to talk about a real hot topic issue that's actually involved with Facebook and the God in Facebook. Gay marriage is in the news recently for marriage equality. It's in the Supreme Court. But Facebook is a real place where everybody tries to validate their own public opinions by posting stuff on there for likes. Everybody wants to get likes on Facebook to make their opinion feel like it means something. Jacob, do you know much about the Facebook marriage equality stuff?
Right. As you've seen out on Facebook, the red square with the equal sign, the people that are proponents for gay marriage, and then you have the people with the same emblem, but it's a cross instead of the equal sign. And basically that's the other side of the argument that says, hey, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve kind of argument. And then you got people like me and Taylor that just say, you know what, this doesn't really accomplish anything. I mean, in my opinion, as a libertarian, I know Taylor is too, people should be able to freely do whatever they want. And the fact that people on both sides are, so dogmatic in their approach is just, it doesn't solve anything. It just causes more complications between people and just causes people just to lose their mind and to not really focus on the issues that really matter. But not saying that this doesn't matter, it's just there's other issues pressing than gay marriage. This is an issue that hasn't became very popular until recently, and it's just because people are just all about joining bandwagons for movements and stuff, which
Now, one way we change policies is talk to our politicians, write letters. Do you think they give a crap about us posting a Facebook picture? Do you think they're looking at our Facebook and whether or not they change their ideas on supporting policies?
Well, I saw a similar one with Bill Gates saying like this, or I don't remember the exact, the reason behind it, but it's basically turned into a joke. Like, likes on Facebook don't accomplish anything. It's charities and churches giving out to communities. That's what causes real change in the economy and in people's lives worldwide. If you like something on Facebook, nothing really happens. People see it, la-di-freaking-da. That's it. There's nothing contributed to society but a like on Facebook.
What about the whole Coney thing on Facebook?
Coney, people don't even remember who Coney is anymore. People think, what is the ice cream cone guy? I don't know.
They didn't even catch him, did they?
No, they didn't catch him. Most people that joined that bandwagon didn't even know what he was really doing anyway. By the time they joined the bandwagon, it's pretty much too late. And the person that even started that whole movement he did some controversial things in his own personal life that made his own testimony against him very, very challenging. What makes him the right person to be challenging and starting this movement to begin with.
Now, a lot of times people are changing their pictures for the equal sign for gay marriage, pictures of Coney, and before that there's even post your favorite cartoon character as a profile picture for childhood abuse awareness. Do you think any of this makes a difference?
I don't know about you, Taylor, but personally, I don't see anybody saying, hey, we should go start abusing children, start beating them with the heads with baseball bats. That's irrational. No rational person, except psychopaths, are going to say that child abuse is okay to begin with. So there's nothing really to deliberate about in this subject, really.
So basically everybody's just posting these pictures to feel good about themselves and get likes.
Right. It's all about pushing your own agenda and pushing other people's buttons because they don't have the same beliefs as you do.
Now, a lot of people, I would say personally, use Facebook and think it's real life. That if you talk on Facebook, they actually get angry if you actually disagree. How have you come across people like that? Have you ever gotten fights on Facebook?
Oh yeah, the threads that go on and on and on to the point that if I made a comment at some point, I take it off because I don't want to keep getting notifications on my iPhone and on my computer and stuff over some senseless arguments. Like I said earlier, nothing productive is happening when people do that.
How do you think we should actually go forward as a society to fix the issues? Do you think Facebook's actually going to help?
Well, Facebook is good to get awareness out, but without actually going out in the communities through churches and, like I mentioned earlier, through other charitable groups, nothing gets accomplished. It's more of like your actions speak louder than your words. You can say all you want. I can say, I'm here to end world hunger. If I said on Facebook, 1 billion people could like that status, but that accomplished nothing. In hindsight, and it's absolutely nothing accomplished.
Now, have you ever come across Facebook pictures or stories where it says, like this if you want to give money to this kid who has an inoperable brain tumor and needs all this, if you get a bunch of likes, then a doctor will perform a surgery. Have you seen that stuff?
I've seen all sorts of stuff like this, and my girlfriend will let me keep my mustache. I mean, it's just, who cares, like, what likes, it's such an arbitrary usage of making decisions, honestly.
Do you think politicians actually look at our Facebook and their decisions?
They can care less. They barely listen to their citizens to begin with, honestly. It's really about their own personal agenda and getting reelected to begin with. I mean, that's the whole reason why politicians say what they do. As we saw in the recent election, Mitt Romney, I don't know which Mitt Romney was running. The first Mitt Romney, I like that guy. You know, he's more moderate, you know. And then you got super extreme Romney, and then you got, I don't even know, you got Romney just basically, there's the whole controversy about the video at the banquet he was having, where a worker was documenting him basically just demeaning the entire country and saying, these people will never vote for me, why should I care about them? And that's when you see politicians at their truth, most times they speak the truthful ways is when they're going to speak around their friends. When they're on a camera, they're a completely different person to begin with.
So how do you think we should go about getting good politicians in office? Do you think we should have term limits at all? Since their whole job is just trying to get reelected and look good in front of the public and make themselves look good.
Well, yes and no. The way it's set up right now, I wouldn't want another FDR, someone that's going to be around for a long time. I think it's a good, that's only 2 terms. I mean, one solution I would say is just go ahead and give someone 8 years, which, I mean, that could be a long time.
As president, congressman, or what?
I'm speaking just strictly from a presidential standpoint. From Congress, people can stay there as long as they want. You got people that's been there forever and they don't really want to accomplish anything because they can always look back and say, look what I did 20 years ago. And that sounds good. No one really thinks about it, that they haven't done anything recently to help out their citizens.
Well, right now it's 2013. We've got another 1 or 2 years until the primary season starts. Do you think anybody's going to come forward as a prominent person in the Republican Party or the Democrat Party running for the nomination?
For the Republican candidate, I would say Marco Rubio is a good choice for them. Not only will he stir the Latino vote, which Republicans have historically not been able to get, and it's been to the Democrats. I think he also, when he's like President Obama. When he has a script that he follows, he's very eloquent. The only issues with him I can see is when he's being debated, whether he can, stand his own and really be able to fight the issues that are being asked of him.
Do you know of anybody else who's probably going to be running for president in the Republican or Democrat Party that you've noticed in the news?
Rand Paul has been, I know has been in the news recently. If he's anything like his father, I'm all aboard that too. The whole libertarian ideals. Pretty much anybody that's going to stir up traditional conservative ideas is going to be a good candidate. That's what's been killing them in the past elections. You got John McCain, you got Romney, you got people playing really far right, and the people in the middle are being left out and either not voting or going towards the Democrat side.
Do you have any ideas of who might run for a Democrat Party?
Maybe Hillary again. I really hope not, but I mean, I haven't really been paying attention very much with the Democratic side of people running, but I think it's fair game on that side because there's no standout person right now as opposed to the Republicans that are already campaigning for the next election in 4 years.
So, who's your ideal, ticket for the next presidential election on the Republican side? Because libertarians more, I would say align with the Republican Party rather than Democrats.
I would like to see Rand Paul, but I could see a problem with him being associated with Ron Paul. because he was not very favorable among extremely conservative for his views on gay marriage and drugs and etc. libertarian issues. That could come back to haunt him. Also, Jeb Bush is another candidate that has, family ties that could ruin his presidential candidacy because he's associated with George W. Bush and H.W. Bush. So, I think that we need to stay away from family members that have previously ran because it tarnishes their reputation. They could be a totally different person idealistically, but no one ever know because everyone have their preconceived notions about this is what their relative did, this is what their father did, this is what their brother did. I think it's time that the Republican Party and the Democrats sees new faces that haven't been around. So it's a new opportunity for change, real change, not Obama's change. He can keep his change all he wants.
No, as you wrap this up, would you like to tell anyone who watches this on YouTube, who should they Google, who should they YouTube and research for the upcoming election?
People like I mentioned, Rand Paul's a good one. He's been in the news. Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, which I think he's the front runner at this point, in my opinion. People need to figure out more about him. I know a little bit about him. He'll get the Latino vote, obviously, for the Republican Party. But right now, it's very early to be able to see how it's going to play out. So I think it's now more important than ever to actually dig in before the other politicians and debates happen and people reputations are tarnished before you get to know their actual beliefs and see how they change from their beliefs now until when they're being debated on the big stage.
Yes, that is very important. You need to look at someone's record to see who they are before the election and during the campaign election to know who you're going to vote for. But anyways, I think we've run out of time, Jacob, and I thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
I hope you get to have more fun on another possible spring break or crazy trip, and hopefully I won't make out with another table.